Welcome back to 98.7 ESPN Cardinal Court, Kieran Vitale. I'm Micah Fleshman, going to break it down for you. Some Knicks, some Islanders, some Rangers. But first, we're going to start with the Yankees, and we're going to talk about the trade deadline. And it seems like the first piece and the most obvious one that has to go, Kieran, is Joey Gallo. What do you see the Yankees doing with him?
Look, I think they have to trade him for an outfielder such as, Brian Reynolds, Andrew Benintendi, Ian Happ, right? Some talented bat because right now it's hard to imagine being much worse than Joey Gallo is. He has solid defense, right? Still has a great arm at the plate. He's just abysmal, right? His plate discipline has gone down drastically from where it was this time last year when he was with Texas. He's not been at all what they've hoped. And usually it's fine because he would rely on his power. But the power is very streaky, right? He only has, I believe now, 10 home runs, right? A far cry from where we thought he would be at this point in time. He's been a massive flop in New York, and it's just time for them to move on.
And yeah, we saw in this last Boston series, the Yankees, they treat these Fenway series like a mini playoff series. And the Yankees put Matt Carpenter over Gallo in all four games. Gallo started, I believe, one of them, and he had one hit, and it was a pop-up that was dropped or just wasn't seen. So the Yankees are phasing out Gallo. They pinch hit for him. They clearly don't trust him, and you might just have to trade him to a team that wants him for a minor league prospect.
And we're going to be taking your calls all day. 1-800-911-3776. Talk Yanks, talk Islanders, talk Rangers. We're getting a call from White Mamba. White Kauai in Pennsylvania. You're on 98.7 ESPN.
Hey guys, very excited to join the show today. So a lot of people don't know, I'm actually a really, really big Yankees fan. I bleed that navy blue for life. I'm going to be honest with you. A little disappointed with how Isaiah Kiner-Falefa has played this season. In fact, unpopular opinion, kind of want him off the team. But I give you insight. What do you think we should do? Should we keep him around, see what maybe he can do in the back half of the season? Or do you think it's time to call up a guy like Oswaldo Peraza there?
I thank you for the call, White Kauai. I think that IKF's got to go. I don't know about you guys, but he's really been underwhelming. They brought him in, and obviously it wasn't the flashy move, this Corey Seager, the Carlos Correa, but we were expecting, some mediocre hitting, and obviously the great defense, and neither has been there. The defense has been rather shaky. The hitting's been abysmal, an 85 OPS, 15% worse than the league average hitter. Carter, what do you think the Yankees do? Is it time for Peraza or Volpe? Do they go expand trade options?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Anthony Volpe, who's that top prospect, yet until at least 2023 or beyond. But Oswald Peraza, he's ready. This last month in AAA after a slow start, he's been about as good as you can get there. And he's actually seen a lot of Major League pitching recently. Rail Riders just placed the Red Sox, who had Chris Sale, Nathan Eovaldi, and Garrett Whitlock all in rehab starts, and he passed the test against them. And with Kiner-Falefa, the at-bats are abysmal. He just grounds out, doesn't work the count at all, doesn't really get on base. But the main key there has been the defense. He can make some nice plays, but a lot of routine errors and just mishaps, and it's happening way too much. So Peraza, who's supposed to be, the scouts say he's a very good defender. I mean, at that point, just for his defense alone, I think you just have to take a chance.
Yeah, no, Kiner-Falefa, right, he was brought in with the expectation that he would at least be a plus defender, but he has 8 errors so far. He's been a pretty poor shortstop, right? And when you talk about Oswald Peraza, he has an on-base percentage nearly identical to Kiner-Falefa in AAA, right? As you mentioned, he's faced against some Major League competition, and it's hard to imagine that he could be much worse than Kiner-Falefa. And even if he is on a similar level, that's not a bad thing, right? Because Peraza at least has a lot more potential. You need him to get his reps in. Now's a good time. They have a massive lead in the division to call Oswald Peraza.
Kieran, it almost seems like you can't be worse than Isaiah Kiner-Falefa.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Because Kiner-Falefa, fine, he has a decent batting average, but he doesn't even have doubles power. He has no home runs in the year. Terrible defensively. What does he add to this team besides maybe some speed?
And one more area of concern for the Yankees could be the starting pitching. We've seen that Nestor Cortez's arm is kind of, maybe he's getting a little bit tired. Obviously, we haven't seen Jameson Taillon pitch a full season with a lot of innings in, I think, maybe his whole career. Garrett Cole, he's going to be a workhorse. Sevy coming off of a big injury. Monty's going to be great, but who could you see, Carter, the Yankees going after just as that insurance piece, but somebody who could be very reliable and could be someone that can hold it down for them in the rotation?
Yes, Micah, the two big options on the trade market right now are Frankie Montas of the A's, the Yankees saw recently, and also Luis Castillo, they will face him and the Reds this week. So they'll get a good look at them. And the big concern here, I think, is Jameson Taillon. He had a great start to the season. We were thinking, hey, this guy's a pending free agent. Is he going to get 100 mil? It was crazy to think about, but in his last month, his ERA starts with a 7, I believe. So it's been pretty rough watching him lately. Obviously, I think that they can turn it around. He has the stuff to do it, and it could just be a slump. But we've seen the Yankees in years past go out and get a 6th starter. So while I don't think Castillo or Montas could be in the work, I could see a solid 6th starter just to come in. A good example of that and is Andrew Heaney last year. He was terrible for the Yankees. But like the idea of them getting a guy who can eat innings down the stretch, because the Yankees, they have that lead in the division to where they can rest their starters and hopefully just stay off an injury. I think that could be definitely a solid option for them, and someone to eat innings and work their way down the stretch and maybe onto the playoff roster.
We're going to take a short break. When we get back, we're going to talk Islanders and some Rangers. Again, the number to call in, 1-800-911-3776. We'll be right back.